Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, at this point, the kids glorifying the drill culture, or just the streets period, shouldn't need me or anybody else telling y'all to stay out the streets. These days, OGs may not even be needed because you don't need anybody to tell you anything when you can see everything unfolding right in front of your own two eyes. Now, countless times, the same guys some of these kids idolize can show you what not to do just by their lifestyles alone. Whereas they now have a choice on whether they want to spend a large sum of their life behind bars, or even worse, be in a grave, or just be what they try to say, a square, and live your life not having to look over your back 24/7. Whether it's for law enforcement or your ops trying to take your life, even in some cases, backdooring is such at an all-time high where you don't even gotta worry about your ops, but now you gotta worry about your closest friends setting you up as well. And as they say, who needs enemies when you got friends like that? Look right here. I always tell y'all about these guys who have names like King Slime or King Snake or Backdoor King. Well, recently I found another guy who calls himself Mr. Backdoor. So like I always say, having a friend who goes by an alias like that, what makes you think that you can't be next if you're his friend? Anyway, let's stay on topic. Now, OTF as a whole seem to be cursed these days because it seems like they can't catch a break. Just in the span of a year, it seemed like either the law or their ops have single-handedly dismantled OTF as a whole, and the only person who seemed to be left is Duty Low. We just heard about Boona getting picked up, which we'll get into that story in another video, but prior to that, we've witnessed basically the whole OTF as a record label get sent off. They say once you cut the head off a snake, the body will fall. With Lil Durk being the CEO of OTF and basically fighting for his freedom as he have trial coming up in October, the rest of the members follow. From OTF Didi, OTF Varney, who we also found out he had been playing foul the whole time, but OTF Jam, Just Blow, Boona, and here we have OTF Boonie Moe. That's 6 people, and if you include Durk, it's 7. And yes, you have Booker 600, but you can't really include him because he's been mainly seen around T Grizzly as of recent, which don't sound too bad of an idea these days. And I don't know about y'all, but whatever they got going on over there, it makes you think that whatever happened with Uze Osama may have just been a blessing in disguise. Now when it comes to OTF Boonie Moe, recently he has been sentenced to a minimum of 7 years and a maximum of 15. For y'all that don't understand, which is a good thing, because more than likely it means you haven't had to because you haven't been incarcerated. But it's said that he's eligible for parole in December of 2028, which means he'll be doing at least 3 years out the minimum of 7 years before he's even allowed to apply. So that's a guaranteed 3 we wouldn't be seeing him. Even after that, it's still not guaranteed that he'll be out because it all depends on how he behaves in there, and they have a choice on whether he's eligible for parole in 2028 or not. Now we learned 2 months ago, Boonie was arrested on the Amtrak. We don't know whether police was tipped off or if dogs just alerted to the belongings, assuming that it was drugs he was carrying, but upon law enforcement's investigation, they would arrest Boonie and charge him with possession and intent to distribute narcotics in Nebraska. As of August 1st, he will be sentenced to 7 to 15 years as he was found guilty in his role of the crime. Now people may say, what the hell is he doing in Nebraska? I'm not 100% sure, but oftentimes dealers target small towns like that where the demographic is a little different because it's a lot of money out there if you're doing what you're doing in the street. The only problem is those small towns have their own laws and regulations where their guidelines may be a lot different than what you're used to. Something where you may have not gotten in much trouble elsewhere. If you're there, they can penalize you according to whatever they want to. So let's say if you sold drugs in Chicago and they may have just been an offense that would get you 1 to 2 years or maybe 3, but in Nebraska, they will give you 10 if they want. No, they're not a Commonwealth state, but according to Google, Nebraska has its own laws and a unique legal system governed by the Nebraska Constitution and state statutes. The state operates under a unicameral legislature, which means it has a single legislative chamber that creates laws specific to Nebraska. So in a nutshell, don't go committing crimes in Nebraska, y'all, especially if you're not from there. When you aren't from there or anywhere, they feel you're taking from their community, causing destruction, and they will make an example out of you just to send a message to anybody else thinking about coming there and committing crimes. Boonie Moe is no stranger to the law either, because he has had many chances, because back in 2010, he was accused of shooting a cop, but it was labeled self-defense. He got out after serving approximately 13 years. However, while out on parole, he was busted again for drug possession as he violated his parole conditions and was sent back to jail on a violation for just 1 year. Fast forward to now, just a year after serving that violation, he is now back in prison on these charges. Now let me tell y'all something. These guys have had the opportunities of a lifetime and get chance after chance after chance and don't do anything with it. Here this man is, he's around one of the biggest artists to come out of Chicago in our time, and he still chooses to do the wrong thing. Even if his music ain't working, use your connections to at least do something. Take the money and invest it in real estate or help manage other artists and use your network in that way, or crypto or something. Why go right back to the streets when God clearly gave you an opportunity to come out of it? Just wasted opportunity, man. And every time I see something of Boonie Moe getting in trouble, the only thing that comes to my mind is, you know that we did it. I ain't gonna lie. What if they was in court and every time the charges against him was read, they played a clip of that song and him saying, you know that we did it, right? And before y'all start saying, oh, hookah is not funny, you laughing at another man's downfall, no, I'm not. I wouldn't wish jail or death on my worst enemy. But the problem we have is that we never hold these guys or anybody accountable. I have zero sympathy for ignorance. These guys get in songs, talk about selling this and selling that, catching that body and this body, and when the inevitable happens, everyone acts surprised, right? I'm confused. And guess what? This also doesn't help for the OTF RICO, because they basically said that OTF is a criminal organization hidden by music and funded by the head, which is Lil Durk, right? So they're only hurting his case come time for him at trial in October, because with all these guys locked up for different forms of criminality, how is his lawyer gonna say, no, they are not a criminal organization, right? Or no, my client didn't have knowledge that this was going on, when clearly he's close friends with these same guys. He's seen in pictures with them, on songs talking about crimes with them, all types of stuff, man. Anyway, these guys just don't think, so I guess we just have to wait and see what comes out of trial with Lil Durk. It's approaching in October, and we're like a month and a half away. So, like I said, with all the OTF artists basically wrapped up for criminal activities, it's going to be very hard saying that OTF wasn't operating as a criminal organization. But hey, jump in the comments, let me know what y'all think about this. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out.